Today I wanted to take a moment to talk with you about some of the strategies that we've been working on the last couple weeks with multiplication. I know that many of you are practicing facts at home, and that is a wonderful tool. Thank you so much. I also wanted just to kind of go over some of the language that I'm using in class. There's also some picture models on our blog as well. The first one I wanted us to look at was just an example of with the fact 3 groups of 4. And if you notice, I say that as 3 groups of. I say that multiplication symbol says groups of, as we're saying, or rows of, shelves of, baskets of, just so that they understand the idea of multiplication. We do still say times, but I just talk to them a lot about that idea of it because times is a little abstract at first. So the first one that we'll look at is an array, and in this picture model we're looking at that I have 3, and I always tell them make sure they're labeling this, 3 rows of 4 circles. So it's the idea of 3 rows, 4 columns. So that would be an array. An area model would be a lot like that. That would be an array that touches. So think about like area of length times width of all the tiles were touching and they were making a rectangle. That's a type of an array that's filling in the area of something. They use that also. This is a grouping model. This is just looking that I have 3 groups of 4. This is a number line model that we look at. This would just show that I have made 3 jumps of 4, so each one is increasing by 4s. And then I also talked to the students about the idea of doubles. So in this first one here, we're looking at 8 groups of 6, and if the students were trying to have something that could help them with that, then they could use, well, maybe I know 4 times 6. If I know that that is 24, then I could double that, so I could do 24 times 2 or 24 plus 24. That is okay if they're using a little bit of addition, but if you see them that they're using repeated addition constantly, I try to encourage them not to, because adding just 24 plus 24 here instead of taking 24 times 2 is totally fine. But sometimes what I have is, like when we start doing 24 times 7, that they'll want to start adding 24 plus 24 plus 24 plus 24 plus 24, so much that it becomes long. And so if you do see them not using the multiplication number sentence and just relying too much on the repeated addition, you may want to talk with them about that. I definitely do in class as well, but they are using ideas to help them with facts that they don't know. Another one I talk about is it's building up or building down, and this is where I may not know a fact, but I could use a fact above it or below it to help me come up with the answer. For example, if I didn't know 9 times 7, an easy one that I could use is 10 times 7. They know that from working with so much with tens is 70. And then I would talk to myself that, okay, if I went 10 groups of 7 instead of 9 groups of 7, that's 1 group of 7 too much. So I'd have to subtract 7, which would still get me to the answer. And obviously what I'm hoping is that they will definitely have the facts memorized. And to be honest with you, I hope that they have them memorized by January. That's our goal. But as they're learning the facts, what we're hoping is that they're developing number sense. So while they may not have them completely memorized yet, we hope that they do, but in the meantime that they can use one of these strategies to help them. If they do tell you that I don't want them to use a picture, that is partly true. I do not want students using array models or picture models for things that are really long. So for example, if I had them using a grouping model here and it was showing 3 groups of 18, for example, I would never want them to, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so forth, to fill up their grouping, because it just takes so long and it's really not helpful. And so instead, if they were going to draw a picture, I would want them to draw something that's like this, and this is perfectly fine. But I'm trying to teach them to use good picture models instead of picture models that are so long. The same thing with arrays or area models or things like that. They're welcome to draw a picture that kind of helps them understand what's going on, but I try to get them away from drawing where it's so many dots, because the numbers just get so big that it doesn't really help them. It more so confuses them. And so I just want them to make sure if they're using a picture that they're using it efficiently and something that's going to actually get them to the answer instead of making it a longer process where you could do all this work but accidentally miscount.